Hello, Year 7. Welcome to this online lesson. I thought I would just talk you through what I want you to do this week. So the focus of the lesson this week is about holidays from hell. So the metaphor is used to describe holidays and travel writing where things don't go so well and there's maybe some kind of disaster, so the hotel room isn't booked or the plane doesn't turn up or somebody gets food poisoning and spends all week in bed, whatever it is. It's a holiday that's gone really, really badly. And you can look at that YouTube link to find out some more stories behind this. So what you're going to do this week is you are going to imagine you've been on one of these holidays from hell. And you're going to write a complaint letter to try and get a refund or try and get your money back. So you're going to have to think about what you want to complain about. But I'm going to teach you a little bit about some of the features of persuasive writing in our work this week. As usual, if you've got any questions or you're not sure what to do, just send me a message on Teams or send me an email. I'll only be too happy to help you. So I hope you're all well and that you're all coping. You're doing a really, really good job and working really, really hard. I'm really proud of you all. So let's just go and find out a little bit more about holidays from hell. So persuasive writing is when you try and convince people about your own point of view. So when you write this letter of complaint that you're going to be doing for me, you need to be able to persuade the travel company to take your complaint seriously and hopefully give you a refund, maybe a little bit of compensation. So these are some of the things that you're going to learn about. These are all features of persuasive writing. So exaggeration, the use of statistics, directly addressing the reader, emotive language, using facts, repetition, opinion, rhetorical questions, triples, sometimes known as the rule of three, and alliteration. So the first task I want you to do, and you can pause the video, is to try and match these features of persuasive writing with their definitions. So they've all been jumbled up. So just pause the video now and see if you can actually do that in your own head or write down some notes maybe, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay. So if you just have a look at the answers here, exaggeration is where you say something is better or worse than what it actually is. So you may well want to kind of really exaggerate how bad your holiday experience was. A statistic is a numbered fact. Directly addressing is when you talk to the reader directly, so you use a word like you. Emotive language is when you try and really talk about the emotions. So if, for example, you've had a really bad holiday experience, you might talk about the emotional toll it's had on you. You might talk about how maybe you had children with you who'd been looking forward to this holiday for weeks, and about how they've been crying and are devastated. Fact is something you know to be true. Repetition is repeating a point. Repetition is repeating a point. Repetition is repeating a point. You get my drift? Opinion is your personal viewpoint, so saying what you think about a particular situation. A rhetorical question is a question in speech or text that doesn't really need answering. So it's when someone, you might put in your letter, for example, do you not think that this is absolutely outrageous? But you're not expecting the person to answer that, but you're using that as a way to really make your writing persuasive. Triples is when you list things in threes, and alliteration is when words begin with the same letter, so such as a perfect paradise. So moving forward, this is what we're going to do in this lesson. We've looked at some of those persuasive writing features, and you can pause this to have a little look at. We're going to do some analysis on that. Then you're going to write your own letter of complaint, and then we're going to review it. And this is more work than just 1 hour. This will probably take you the week to do this, but if you do need more time, just let me know, because I know sometimes it can be quite difficult getting on with all the work. So just do let me know if you need a bit more time for it. So just to go through some features of persuasive writing, addressing the reader directly, these are all examples here that you could use. This is what alliteration is. So things like the terrible tiger tore the towel, you can see in bold here, that's alliteration, because in the sentence, the words all begin with the same letter, or the wind whistles, or she sells seashells on the seashore, which is a bit difficult to say. It's alliteration. Rhetorical questions, we talked a little bit about that, but these are maybe some phrases you might put in your complaint letter. So this is what politicians often do. They often, when they're trying to persuade you on things, repeat things. So for example, Donald Trump used the phrase "Make America Great Again" when he was elected in 2016. Martin Luther King, when he did his "I Have a Dream" speech, he repeated that phrase to really get across his message. He was a civil rights leader in the 1960s. So you might want to do that in your letter. Exaggeration, sometimes known as hyperbole, is when you really exaggerate a point, and we do that all the time in our kind of normal day-to-day speech. So we might say things like, "Oh, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse," or "I'm so tired I could sleep for a year." So exaggerated features are quite useful. Triplet the rule of three is when you give a list of three things. So you might say something like, "The holiday was overpriced, the accommodation disgusting, and the flights were late." That three has a certain rhythm to it, which is very, very effective, and you want to be able to include that in your letter. So the next thing I want you to do is just study this extract below and think about what persuasive writing techniques you can see. So just pause the video now and try and have a look at what features of persuasive writing we can see. So just pause now. Okay, so we'll go through the answers there, and you can see here we've got some rhetorical questions, triplets, addressing the reader directly, the use of alliteration as well. So it just gives you some ideas on persuasive writing. Okay, moving on. On Teams, there's quite a lot of other information about holidays from hell, but here there's just a few extracts here about holidays from hell. So if you just pause this, and you can make a little mind map now to explain why people are so angry about their holiday experience. And this is just, the idea of this is just to build up some ideas which you might be able to use in your letters. So you can see in this first one, insects and cockroaches in the room, not very nice at all, it's not very clean. That's a common thing that people complain about when they're on holiday, the room is maybe not very clean. So you can just pause the video now and make that little mind map. Give yourself maybe about 5-10 minutes to do that. Okay, so moving on. The next thing is in the Teams folder, I'll put it on the group chat page. There are some articles about holidays from hell. Don't worry about reading them all, but what I like to do is just go through some of those articles and make a bullet point list of all the things that can go wrong in each holiday. You don't need to hand that in to me, but it's just to kind of help you build ideas for your letter of complaint. So here, for example, is one of the articles from Deborah Ross. It talks about a camping holiday which goes wrong, and you can just have a little bit of a read for that. So it's just to practice your reading skills. So you just pause the video now and do that task, and then come back to the video. Okay, so moving on. So your turn now to think about you've been on a holiday from hell. So just plan out some ideas now about where you may have gone. How long did you go for? How much did the holiday cost? Who did you go with? In this task, you're probably going to want to imagine you're the adult in the task, so it might be worth thinking about who's in the family that's going. How did you get there? Was it by plane? Was it by boat, for example? Did you drive there? What was the hotel like? Was it like it was in the brochure or on the internet? What were the facilities like? And I want you to plan out what are 3, 4, 5 really bad things about your holiday. So just pause the video now and make some of those notes. Okay, well done. Now that you've done that, the next thing to do is to just use these pictures to think about some of the bad things that might happen in terms of a holiday from hell. So you've got things like people being noisy, not very nice bathroom facilities, messy rooms, not very clean. Maybe your holiday hotel's next to a building site, the pool's not very nice, overcrowded, messy. Well, it's not overcrowded, that beach, is it? But it's messy. And again, some of the pictures there, not very nice. Poor bathrooms, that's quite a common thing for people to complain about. Unfinished building work, again, not very nice views. Lots of things to think about. So you're now going to start to plan out your ideas, and you're going to use this planning sheet to help you. So just download that from the files and from the group chat. If you can't find it, just let me know. And I want you to think about what would be a good opening for your letter. So I've put an example one here. Introduce yourself and go through the facts of the holiday here. Okay, and you can write down some ideas on this bit of the sheet, or just write down some notes. Then I want you to go through 3 main problems that happened on your holiday. So write about the first problem here. So it might be like insects in the hotel room. What's the second problem? It might be that the pool, there's no water in the pool or something. And the third problem might be that you got food poisoning from one of the meals in the restaurant. It's up to you to decide. So you're going to go through these problems, but you want to use those features of persuasive writing that I showed you at the start. So use things like the rule of 3, use things like exaggeration, use things like emotive language. So you could talk about, how devastated your family was, how you've been looking forward to this holiday for a long time. And then crucially, how do you want the manager to solve it? And then you want to think about how you're going to end your letter. So I very much hope you'll take this complaint seriously. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Yours sincerely, Helen Earth. And you are really, you can adapt those things, but that should just give you the structure of your essay. Don't forget to write in paragraphs. That's really important for you to do, so that each one of these sections should be a new paragraph. Okay. So a few more little ideas just to help you. So these are features of a successful complaint letter. So you address the date, the top right hand corner. You're going to address it, dear sir, madam, the introduction, the detailed paragraphs, lots of persuasive devices. So you can go back and have a look at the start of the video for some ideas around that, what you expect the company to do, and signing off. And these are just some ideas for sentences to include within your work. So lots of work to do there, and I'll give you a bit of time to do that. But if you do get stuck, or if you've got any questions at all on this letter that you are going to be doing, then just send me a message, and I will be only too happy to help. I can go through some key phrases. I can look at some ideas that you've got. So if you want to sort of send me a few sentences that you want me to check, that's absolutely fine as well. So good luck, Year 7. I'm dead proud of you all. Obviously missing you all and our English lessons. Hope to be back in school really, really soon. But yeah, best of luck with it all, and well done, and stay safe. Thanks very much for listening.